All right, what's going on, everybody? So I want to give you guys a quick update on some thoughts I had. And what's going on in the world is obviously impacting a lot of people. You got gas prices increasing, you got inflation, supply issues, you got many companies, tech companies, product companies just closing themselves off and just riding the sanction stuff and just many different things, right? And so you got many people doing different things to portray a message, a certain viewpoint, a perspective, and things like that. But chief of them all right now is this battle of the narrative. And what I mean is that everybody's trying to get you on a certain side to believe this is the truth, or this is the way you should view something. This is the perspective, the purview, the outlook you should have based on these subjective or objective pieces of information, the data, the facts, or whatever it is. And a lot of people want you to believe this thing based on the information presented to you. And so we're in a war right now, and I've said it before, but people are warring for your mind. And this is the most dangerous and the hardest piece right now of what's going on in the world. And despite or depending on how you look at any action, whether a building is bombed or targeted, whether a certain group is taken down, warred after, whatever it is, depending on what the justification is, what the reasoning is, what is that they're doing, what is the receiving party, the offending party, the giving party, whatever it is that's happening, depending on how and what you look at, justifies or doesn't justify or gives you the perspective of either side, right? And so that's what's going on. And I'm not here to convince anybody, what to believe, what not to believe. I have advocated for that. You've got to carefully discern what's going on and really be in prayer and really ask the Lord, what is the truth? And there's so much information out now that it's mind-boggling trying to sift through everything, right? And so I have my perspective in the high level, the bigger picture of what God is doing and how He's using certain people, certain nations, and it's not a popular opinion. And I've said this before, say it again, but God is using a certain person right now to take down a lot of what's been evil, what's been behind closed doors stuff right now that have been, depending on how you term it, neo-Nazis. If you even look at the different history of Ukraine, of the Sloboda, the Azov battalion, all these different things that are being sort of tossed around, a lot of people are getting certain perspectives. But if you dig and you go through the research and see where it is that there's a connection based on who's funding them, if they're state-backed, CIA-backed, or whatever backed it is, what they're hiding, what's the MO, what is going on behind the scenes, and actually do some research to connect it, then you will have a certain opinion and ask yourself as well as question, what really is the truth here? And why is it that you're saying this, but portraying it this way? And so we're in a point right now where a lot of people are controlling the media, a lot of people are controlling the bullhorn, and it's affecting people negatively based on how they want to receive information and discern it. But I believe that as a Christian that seeks truth and wants really what's going on, to find out what's going on, that you can be presented with an idea, I don't want to say an inkling or feeling, but some spiritual discernment over what is not true. And if anything, you can discern something that smells fishy, as opposed to really pinpointing what is true. If anything, people have grown in discernment to say something's off about that narrative, something's off about this story. I can't quite put my finger on what's the actual truth, but this is not the truth. And that kind of discernment is getting us closer to what may be the actual truth, right? And so I'm not here to discuss that, but one thing I do want to mention that's going on right now is that there's been a lot of financial activity with people closing their services, doing a lot of different things. You got Visa, MasterCard, and American Express closing and shutting off services to the Russian people. And it doesn't necessarily affect, from what I researched, the Russian people, because they're backed by the MIR or the MIR system. So domestic transactions within Russia are still valid, and Russian citizens can still transact between each other. But the foreign transactions have been halted and it's been stopped. You got Russian stock markets on hold for like the fifth or sixth consecutive business day. You got a lot of different things going on right now in the financial realm. And you got internet, you got being closed off, you have Russia banning Facebook, you got other services banning services within Russia, and you got all these different things. And what's scary right now, and of course, I'm not here to convince you of what you should believe as being the right person, the good person, whatever. I have my opinion, I have my thought, and I have what I believe the Lord showed me clearly as who the good guy is in the sense of in this moment of what this person, this country is doing. But what's more scary is that the fact that anybody who has power or control can shut off the financial systems, your banking. You saw what happened in Canada. The banks can close your account on a whim if they deem you as being a threat to society, as being a threat to whatever movement or position that the government wants you to, the side that they want you to take. You take the opposite side, then your bank account is closed. So what's going on there is that it's a scary prelude to what's going on, and as prophesied in the Bible about taking the mark of the beast, the financial systems, they can close you off just like that. Doesn't matter if what they believe is right and wrong. And again, it doesn't matter if Russia's right or wrong, whatever it is. The point is that on a whim, depending on who controls it, they can shut you off. And this is the problem that a lot of people are not really taking seriously, because as much as financially it affects you, so you can't buy and sell, it's also affecting other areas. Your access to information, the internet, your access to food and drinks. You have some of the pharmacies right now, even in their drinks and stuff. If you ever see some of the higher tech pharmacies, I think it's CVS or Walgreens, one of them, but you open the door and it's locked, right? It can be locked if you don't have a scanner to open the inventory for you. And so you have that, and probably in the future you have people that can't enter a certain store if you have a mark on your record or if you have a warning or whatever it is, right? But it's scary to think that on a whim, somebody who has the judgment or control or decision-making power to shut you off, to shut a country off, to shut whoever it is based on what they deem subjectively, objectively, whatever it is, to be the right decision or the wrong decision. And so that's what's scary right now, guys. What's happening in Russia is a prelude to not only the future of some distant future of when the evil people have control over it, but it's something that is a wake-up call to many people now. And so once things unfold and get exposed, you will look back and see, man, that's not good that these people were given control to dictate whether a country or a people group should have or shouldn't have access to finances. And so that's why there's a big move right now for decentralization, Web 3.0, you got crypto, you got all these different things that's decentralized to be able to have you not be dependent on a centralized group that have power to dictate your decision and your fate, right, for something. And so this is something that you've got to wake up to and realize that it's not okay to give certain powers financially, you got fiat currency, you got all these different things, centralized power to a certain group of people, especially if they are not stewarding that calling correctly and they are not men of God, God-fearing men and women. So it's the same, guys, as before in the Old Testament. Evil kings, good kings who were given stewardship over a certain province, geography, controlling power that affects millions of people. So we got to be in prayer, we got to be alert, we got to be aware, and we got to be doing our part to be able to not only bring awareness so that you can pray, that you can warn other people, but you have to, if you are in a position of power, of influence, that you can go up and fight against these things so that you can have the proper say, that the right authority, the right people can have certain controls, or that you would develop and innovate on technology that's not going to give the power, the influence to the wrong people. And so we're living in a society right now where this is very dangerous, guys. This is doesn't matter if you think Russia or the US or whoever is good or bad. The problem is somebody has control and they are dictating your outcome, your fate of your financial, your social, your health, or whatever decision. That's what you had with COVID passports. People didn't wake up to the fact that if you didn't get a vaccine, if you didn't get this, then we're going to shut you off. I experienced that personally in Korea. I see that happening in many other countries. And this is the scary part right now that you've got to wake up and realize and be aware of. It's not a funny thing. It's not something where you should just let it be and let it turn out the way it should or whatever. But you should pray that God would give the right authority, control, dictation, whatever it is, so that he would be able to allow not the evil ones to take hold or control, refuge, whatever it is, dominion over these things, but the right people can have that. but more so that there would be an innovation so that people won't be able to be relying on certain centralized powers. And so hopefully this is what the new Web3 and this development of decentralized, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's something that's off the books of certain people, can be able to claim. And so hopefully that happens. You have more anonymous IDing, you have more security, more authentication so that you can have control over your own privacy. Hopefully these things can improve and grow. But right now, you've got to be aware of these tactics by the enemy, of what's going on in terms of controlling you, dictating your move, and pushing you in a certain direction if you don't agree with an outlook or a viewpoint that the mainstream or the controlling power deems as being the right perspective that you've got to have. But instead we have to take on the mind of Christ. We ourselves need to be rooted in truth and in knowledge and wisdom that is of God. And then from there, we can make and dictate actions. Don't be told what to do. Don't be told that you are this bad person or good person or whatever it is. Don't be told that you've got to eat and assimilate into a certain narrative or cultural outlook or viewpoint based on somebody else telling you. But you need to grow up. We've got to grow up as Christians, as the body of Christ, to be able to have the right outlook, the right mindset, the right decision-making ability so that you're not told what to do. And so this is where a lot of people are trying to wake, and the term is red pill people to wake up to what's going on, guys. So God bless you guys. Be aware, be in prayer, be fighting. Talk to you guys very soon. God bless.